down in the den, so go tell a friend. The best podcast on earth's about to begin. We got jokes and news and movie reviews. After Dark and NC-17 with the crew. Interviews with the best artists around. So like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Welcome to Down in the Den. It's your boy Marz, the curator of culture, and I thank you all for tuning in. Before we get started, if you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor. Smash that like button, give us a follow, and turn on your notifications so you will know exactly when more of our amazing content is dropping. And if you're listening to any of our podcast partners, make sure to subscribe and leave us a comment. Now that we've got all of that out of the way, I am stoked to introduce to you a young superstar who just dropped his debut mixtape Underdog, streaming right now on all your favorite platforms. He's hailing from one of my favorite cities, Austin, Texas. Get used to hearing this young king's name because this guy is a freaking superstar. Friends of the Den, Den mates watching at home, please give it up for my guy, Rich the Mack. How are you doing today, brother?
We're doing good today. How are you?
Man, another day in paradise, man. I've been bumping Underdog since it's dropped nonstop, getting into it. And I want to thank you for taking some time out because I know you've been grinding, working super hard, putting this together, putting the final touches on the deluxe. And we'll get into that later, man. So just thank you so much. I'm humbled. You're dope. And I welcome you into the community. So you ready to rock it out?
I appreciate that a lot.
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. So, man, I know, like I said earlier, you've been working hard getting this project to the masses. I've been watching your progress for a while, seeing you putting it together piece by piece. I've listened to the project multiple times. And like I said, I want to tell you, mission accomplished. You killed it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That means a lot.
You're welcome.
I took a lot of time out working on it. I had the really like stepping into high gear these last few weeks because, I started making deadlines for myself. And, when you put yourself under pressure, like the first song kind of says, like, I work really good under pressure. So it forced me to go into high gear and, put the finishing touches on it and get it sent out.
Hey, we are kindred spirits. I tell people my favorite nation is procrastination.
Yes, sir.
I work best under pressure, absolutely. How does it feel getting it out, but not only just getting out there, that's an accomplishment in its own, but coming out so damn good. How's that feedback been since the album's been released?
It's been really good so far. And, I'm not going to say I was surprised that people like really liked it as much as they did. But, like the standard I held myself to was just so incredibly high. Sometimes when you're so high up, you just really can't see from a different type of perspective, because when I listen to music, when I make music, I don't see it from like the average music listener's, point of view. I kind of see it as like, damn, what could I have done better? What beat should I use? Where this should have gone. So, it's been really good. And honestly, I couldn't have been any more proud of the people I worked with as well. Teddy Andres, Little Doozy, Grace Sorensen, Marcus Hill, Sam Hines. The whole lineup in itself just feels like, a superstar team lineup. And, it's been a crazy journey just from that.
Well, definitely you and your collaborators definitely gave me 92 Dream Team vibes. I wasn't familiar with the other artists. Of course, Grace, she's been on the show 2 or 3 times. That's my little niece right there.
Nice with it.
Oh yeah. She's. You guys are both. I've told people many times there's some cities that are hotbeds for music, and I always said Austin. This is Austin's time right now. You guys have been killing it over the last year and a half, last 2 years. Well, long before that, but the last 2 years. I've seen a lot of superstars, and I have a pretty damn good eye for talent. So,
appreciate that.
Absolutely, shout out to all the collaborators that worked with you on the project. You guys were Magic and Bird and Barkley and everybody on the same time, alley ooping. It was very, very impressive. Now, one tradition here on the Den, I'm deep inside. There's 2 things that I love the most: music and comic books. That's pretty much 50% of my entire being. And I feel that creatives, people who create something out of nothing, they make melodies out of nothing, make rhymes out of nothing, make film out of nothing, are modern day superheroes. You guys are a modern day Justice League. And every
Appreciate that.
hero has an origin story. So this is the first question we ask every single person on the Den. What's your origin story? How did you go from your ordinary citizen to becoming a superhero and making the music that you're making? What was your origin story?
Man, for me, really, it was my dad. My dad, from a very young age, had always told me to pay attention to the lyrics of the music. And I never took that into consideration. I was just so young, I couldn't really understand any of that. I don't know if you're familiar with Air Supply.
Yeah,
Much?
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad would play a lot of their music, and he was probably their biggest fan of all time, like, no joke. He would always tell me to listen to the music, and I just never paid attention. So, um, a few years down the line, my dad unfortunately passed away in 2014, and that
My
kind of,
condolences.
I appreciate that. That it opened my eyes a lot, to what music could do for you. Because a lot of the music that I listened to after that, it really touched my soul. I guess I just didn't have any reason, when I was younger to like really relate to it. But as I grew older, I matured. I eventually got into rap music too because I started listening to Drake and I started getting really invested in Kanye's older work. Travis, Days Before Rodeo, I was just playing a lot of classics. But really, the two artists I want to say the most inspired me was Elton John and Biggie Smalls. Those two are like different sides of the spectrum. Biggie, he had his own creative, flow. He's a really poetic person. Not a lot of people recognize how meaningful a lot of the work he's put out is. And even before he was famous, he was doing a lot of stuff on, Fulton Street with the freestyling, the rapping. There's a video I used to watch, the Fulton Street freestyle that he dropped before he was famous, and I used to watch that every day, and that got me so inspired, into writing my own music because I just like I could feel everything coming out of his words, and doing that with music is just so rare because a lot of people, kind of just write just to get it out, put out a hit single or something. But he like put so much like depth into his words, and that's what like inspired me the most out of anything. Him, Drake, a lot of Kanye's older work, a lot of different artists, Amory, Whitney Houston. That music that my dad, kind of implanted in my brain. That's really what began my musical journey. And since then, I've been, doing my research, doing, whatever to advance my knowledge into music. And I kind of see it as like, how LeBron sees basketball. It's good to learn everything. You're not going to use all of it, but it's good to be an all around person when it comes to basketball. And just as how I feel about music.
Absolutely. And Biggie is my favorite rapper. That's my generation.
Yeah,
And
he's nice.
people don't realize, Biggie was only 24 when he passed. It seemed like he
Yeah,
was 40 years old and had been doing it for so long. And that Fulton style that you're talking about, which if you guys haven't checked it, just go on YouTube, you can find it. He was only like 16 years old. And
yeah,
he
it's crazy.
just
It's
killing
crazy.
like grown men, destroying them with his
Yeah,
wordplay and his ability. And you can tell in your craft when someone has studied the craft and then just get into it to make a dollar. They got into it because
for
they love
sure.
it. It sticks out, easily. And I can see that in what you presented in your project and how you present yourself. So, man, shout out to your father for giving you your story. Very similar to mine. My dad, when he came from Vietnam, he created the original Den, which was a wood
Oh shit.
paneled, very 70s style room, and all the records were on the wall. And he used to
Oh, wow.
quiz me, and he was like, "Who's this?" And I'm like, "Average White Band." He was like, "Who's this?" I'm like, "Stevie Wonder." He was like, "Who's this?" And
Oh,
he would,
that's nice.
yeah, he would put the 45s on, and for kids who don't know what a 45 is, just look it up. But he would put the 45s on and literally quiz me, "Who produced this? Who's this? Who's that?" And then my brother, he passed away in 2015. He got me into hip
Oh,
hop. He was 10 years older than me. So instead of Wheels on the Bus, and we talked about this before we started recording, instead of Wheels on the Bus, I was listening to NWA and Too Short and things of that nature.
yeah.
So those two are my biggest influence. And then Beavis and Butthead, that got me into rock music. I used to look at Beavis and Butthead in the videos, and I was like, Metallica's kind of dope, and AC/DC is kind of dope. So those are my three influences. Now, I have personally told you that I think the album is phenomenal. It's 8 songs, 22 minutes, and 8 seconds of pure fire. And and I think that's hard to do, to make a cohesive project that has zero skips nowadays. It's very hard to do.
Yeah.
Um, walk us through the creation of this project. And you mentioned some of your collaborators that you work with. Kind of walk us through from the origins of this project to the release date and how it came about.
So it really kind of ties in, earlier where I was talking about I got so invested into learning everything about music that I got to the point where I feel like I studied so much of the game that I felt like it was my time, to put myself in the spotlight. I really did all my research and everything before I even really started. I was writing music for a long time. And in 2020, I like really set myself to a goal to do something, great in the music world. So I really just started looking up type beats. I just started writing to a lot of stuff. And, as the years progressed from 2020 till now, I met a lot of like nice people, like nice on the mic, nice at singing, nice at, making beats. I met a lot of people along the way. Marcus was one of them. Grace was for sure one of them. I reached out to her whenever she posted a traction, and that's really how we got to being friends and good collaborators. Because I was always looking for a singer, and in Austin, there's always a lot of good singers, but she stands out a lot, in terms of how she approaches a song, how her vocals are. She's really nice, and she gives that '90s vibe that I feel
Yeah.
like music really should have. Have elements of older music and putting it together into something new to make it even better. So that's how I got in touch with her. Teddy, I've always been a fan of his music. He might not be the biggest rapper in the world, but to me, he's always been one of my biggest influences. When I first started listening to rap music, I believe it's his project's titled. Man, I forgot the name. It's a purple cover. It's like a tribute to DJ Screw. That literally got me through my entirety of middle school. And growing up and being able to work with him was just an honor because, I have so much respect for what he does. He's such a nice lyricist. I reached out to him. We started working on something. Little doozy. I kind of met him, twice before we really had a conversation. The first time I met him, I was actually watching one of Grace's shows, but he was there with Jay Mill, and I didn't know either of them at the time, So it kind of slipped by the first time, and the second time, I believe I reached out to him, and we got to link at the studio. We made something, and we kind of sat on it for a while. And on my project is actually whenever I finished it, so that one took like a year. And like I was saying, throughout the years, I kind of got really connected with people, and a month or two ago, I really felt like the project was close to being done. So after doing all the marketing, the promo, I feel like people don't have album rollouts anymore. They just kind of put the album out with no rollouts, and
Drop
that's
it.
that is
Drop
what sticks
single
with me.
after single after single, or just drop it, like you said, with no rollout.
Exactly. Exactly. Music, I feel like music has to be exciting. It's a piece of your life. You have to make it enjoyable. It's a journey that not everybody gets to go on. So, me, I started promoting, I started doing it way before it was even out. I feel like that was a smart move on my end. And I started working on merch. I started, working on a documentary with my friends, Eric, Stevie, Oval, James, started doing a documentary, started doing a lot of graphic work, promotional art, and once I got the cover finished, I really felt like you know that's when everything tied itself together, because when I listen to the music and I see the cover, it just makes sense you know
Absolutely, and that's smart. And guys, the show is not only about introducing you to amazing talent, it's about giving back, because I mentioned creatives are my superheroes. So listen to what Rich said. He did a rollout. He did a merch. He had the merch line. He built anticipation. This is how you make your project pop and separate it from the others. Because now music is so accessible. Like when I was growing up, and I hate to age myself, but the grays and the beard do it for me. With when I was growing up, you had a music video came out, then a single came out, and then maybe another single came. You would probably have three singles before the album even dropped. And then the album would drop and it would build that anticipation. And now, because everything streams and it's so easy to upload your music on DistroKid, people are just dropping stuff, and wondering why it's not connecting. Well, no
Yeah,
one even knew about it because you didn't do anything. So these are gems. I hope you guys are picking this up.
yeah,
Now, I'm big into names. I feel um, what you name something, what you should always have a meaning to it. The Den, our show, The Den is actually an acronym. It stands for Dreams and Nightmares. And I always say that doing this and getting into this industry has been a dream of mine. I used to watch Arsenio Hall when I was a little kid and say, "Damn, that's cool seeing a black guy in a field that was dominated by old white guys like Johnny Carson,
oh yeah,
interviewing people and being hip." So that was my role model, and that's why I named it The Den. Underdog. We It's a
and
common term, but it has to have some meaning to you. What There's a lot in the name, as I said. So I love the Underdog title.
uh,
What made you name this project Underdog, and what is the feeling behind naming that the project Underdog?
man, the whole time I've been trying to prove myself to people. I felt like, in my life, I've always had, a presence in this world. It hasn't always been at where it's at now, but I feel like I really wanted to prove to people what I can do. And hip hop is really competitive. You have to stand your ground. You have to prove to people why you should be there. So, like I was saying, I feel like I had so much of like this knowledge and so much of this musical prowess. I really feel like I was the underdog. Like people didn't recognize me yet. My time is coming. For me to take off. And to me, it's kind of just like a message to everyone else. Like if I could do it, I studied, I did all this research, then you could definitely do it too if you put the right time into it, the right money, the right research. Because the underdog is really a character arc more or less, because I won't always be the underdog. I'll be, somewhere at the Grammys, hopefully, doing my thing.
Oh
But
yeah.
to me, it's really like an embodiment of a character. And when you're listening to the music, you can really hear, a lot of what I have to say. You can hear like the different styles, the singing. The singing was very last second. Like I didn't do that until like a week before it was due. And it kind of still ties in with the title. Because even though I never sang before, a lot of people tell me it's good.
Oh,
You
it's
know,
hella good, and
I
and
feel like the
shocking
underdog.
to
Yeah.
me. Shocking
I
to me to hear that's your first time, because that's one thing I always say. If I could trade anything, if someone gave me a genie today, if I could hit some notes, if I could sing, I would trade it all and be able to just hit one note. My voice sounds like Kermit the Frog when I sing, but to hear that you just started that's pretty damn impressive. It shows.
Yeah, the R&B. So there's actually a story. The R&B songs, I actually wrote those last, and there's one song with Doozy called "Just Because," where I did that whole beginning. I had a 12-hour studio session. I pulled up. I think it was at 10. The first hour I was there, I was just like, fuck it. Like I'll just try singing. And I wrote and did that whole thing in 1 hour while we were there, just like playing around, and it came out like it did. And it honestly shocks me because I didn't think people would like it, but a lot of people like it.
No, it's fire. That's one thing I said. My voice may suck, but my ear is impeccable, and it's definitely fire and really shocking to me. And I think you definitely, if you wanted to release an all R&B project, I
Oh,
don't
for
think that's a
sure.
bad move at all. And so
Somewhere on my bucket list.
I'm gonna just throw that out there. Do what you want with it, but if you were to do that, or even I come from the age where artists drop double CDs. So if you wanted to do
Oh yeah,
one
yeah,
half R&B and one half hip hop, just
yeah,
throw that out there, and catch it, do what you
That's a good.
will with it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
That's a good
there you
idea.
go. There you go. Now, February, you're going to be releasing the deluxe version
Yes,
of
sir.
the project. What can the fans expect, and when can they expect to get that?
So I have an estimated release date of February 24th, and that date holds significance as well. But they can expect more R&B. I put more of my soul into it, and I have a song produced by Marcus also on there, one rap song. So it'll be like three R&B, one rap song. I feel like it ties off the project. If 8 songs wasn't enough, this will tie it off for sure. And the February 24th release date is. I'm really hoping I have everything finished. Turning goes live that day because February 24th, 10 years ago, will be the day that my dad passed. And like I said, my dad was one of my biggest inspirations in music. And luckily enough, the 24th lands on a Friday for whatever connections in the universe it is. It lands on a Friday, so that's a perfect day to drop music. And the 24th, like I said, is a very significant day for me.
Well, I know he is smiling down, proud of his baby boy because you killed
So
it, and I know the future is bright. I think this is going to be the last time you'll be able to use Underdog. I'll just put it like that.
for sure,
Moving
I'm gonna wake
forward, the next album should be favorite, because you're
up
favorite pick or favorite son. So I love that. I love that. Now, bro,
with it.
it's been an absolute privilege getting to chat it up with you, sharing your story with all the friends of the Den and the Den mates. But I can't let you go just yet.
Mm,
Got to get you that Den mate stamp in your passport. You're already fam, but we're going to make it official. And we have a little segment that we play. And it's funny that you mentioned Biggie, but this segment is called If You Don't Know, Now You
now
Know.
you know,
Baby. Shout out
sir.
D.I.G. It's our favorite segment. It lets the fans get a peek into your inner workings of your mind. And we have 4 pre-selected categories that we're going to let you pick in the order that you want to attack them. And we're going to really just dig into it. And before we do that, we got to give a little plug. We got to pay some bills. Guys, if you are into podcasting, and I know you are because you're listening to one right now, make sure to check out Poddex. Poddex is the perfect tool to elevate your podcast to the next level. And you can save 10% with discount code the Den, THEDEN. Get yourself 10% off. They have tons of tools, tips, connections. If you want to get into podcasting like me, you can do it. Anybody can do it. So check out Poddex, get yourself 10% off, and we're going to get into this segment. So the 4 categories that we selected, I had my producer pick 4 dope categories for you, and I think they're going to be perfect. Our self growth, new year, new you, dating life, because I know your DMs are probably just
Yeah.
going off the hook right now. I know you got the fans, and WTF, which if you guys don't know what WTF stands for, then you're watching the wrong show. So you have 4 categories. Which one do you want to tackle first?
Definitely the dating life. I feel like as much as it may seem like I get a lot of people in my DMs. I reserve all that for one person. If she's watching this, hopefully she will. If she's supporting me, um, she'll understand what I'm talking about. And until something comes up, until something happens, she's still my number one. We cut it up all the time. You know, like I said, if she's watching this, then she knows.
Absolutely. Well, she's definitely going to be watching this. So I hope the answer is good because I don't want any smoke on my account. All right. So, your question out of the dating life category: what does a successful relationship look like for you? What in Rich to Max term, what makes a successful relationship?
To me, I feel like respect and boundaries because I'm not gonna always be available. I'm always working, doing other things. So if our schedules can really fit together, we can make it work. We can talk things out. Then I'm down with that because I've had so many relationships where everything just falls apart. Due to timing and everything, it just slips away, gets by so fast.
Absolutely. And I think that's one thing for anybody out there, you have to, you know, rather it be a budding superstar or, somebody working in the shipyard, you have to respect their time. You got to have boundaries. I concur with that 100%. I tell people, I'm out there, I was married for a long time. Shout out to the ex and out here in the
Yeah.
single game. And I tell people I haven't been single since 2005. I didn't know anything about a Bumble or a Tinder or anything like
Yeah,
that. I'm an old head, and one thing I've learned, I'm like, guys, you have to respect my boundaries. I run multiple businesses. I'm on the road all the time. I don't have time to look, be on the couch and watch, Golden Girls or whatever the kids are
for
watching.
sure, for sure.
So good answer, good answer. I think she's going to be happy with that. All right, you have 3
Right to the point.
categories left: self growth, New Year, New You, and WTF. Which one do you want to tackle?
I'll do self growth.
All right. Great category. I'm all about the evolution. All right, and this is a great question, man. And this guy's why you should get pod debts. These are dope questions. All right, here we go. Do you have a mentor or someone helping you with growth who has helped you get to where you're at now? I'm all about having a mentor.
Absolutely. Marcus, I always say that Marcus, literally, when I met him, I started to put the pieces together. You always have that one friend or that one person that just really pushes you, and his family has always been super nice to me, super kind. I talk to his dad all the time. When my project dropped, he was the first person to text me, tell me, how I should, approach everything that happens after, the marketing and everything. I really look up to Marcus and his family. They're a nice, very nice set of people. And in terms of self growth, I feel like even then, me and him really have both grown together. You know, I never, I never want to like include him from anything. He's really the backbone of a lot of my success. I'll always give him credit for that. So for the self growth, I definitely give that to Marcus.
Shout out to Marcus and shout out to all the mentors out there that's helping people. You guys really don't understand how important it is to have someone that's either done it or just supports you, even if they haven't done it. They don't even have to be in the same industry, but really has your back. And as you mentioned, the backbone, you're not going to make it. No one makes it by themselves. So shout out to Marcus and shout out to all the mentors out there that's just helping people and doing it from the goodness of their heart without doing it looking for what they can get. They're looking to just help, and your success is their success, and vice versa. So I love that
Yes,
answer.
sir.
All right, so we got two more categories left. We got WTF and New Year, New You. Which one do you want to tackle?
I feel like I want to hit the WTF.
All right, let's do it. It's my favorite category because I am slightly crazy. So, all right, hope we get a good one. Let's see. I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to skip that one because it's too WTF. All right. Have you ever done something unbelievable only to have no one around to see it? Nah, I've been there before. I
Oh
accidentally
man,
did a backflip one time and nobody saw it, and I can never do it again.
is it like embarrassing or just like something in general?
Just something general, it's like something like I can't believe, and you're looking around and you're like, "Damn, I just made this half court 3 pointer or whatever it may be," and no one was there to catch it.
Mm,
And it can be embarrassing if you want. I'm all about the tea, and.
man, I really feel like there's so much I can pick from. Honestly, I really feel like it's a biased answer, like to even say this, but like the singing, like when I started singing, no one was there to see that. No one, and like bro, I really don't know how that came together. Like the singing, bro. Like I really wish people were there to see that because it came out, like you said, it came out pretty good.
I was
That's
shocked.
it.
I was
WTF.
shocked when you said you did it in an hour. I thought that thing had been mulled over and picked apart, and that just shows a time. My favorite artist of all time is Michael Jackson, and he would always say that he didn't write the music, that he was just a
Felt it.
vessel, and that it would just come to him, and these melodies would come to him, these songs would just come to him, and he was just a vessel. He wouldn't take credit for it, and that's why I always tell people you can separate the art from the person because art comes from a higher source. So it's not really the person. We're just kind of like the radio. And
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then we're getting it from somewhere else, somewhere out in space or somewhere out in the heavens, wherever it may be. So that's a good answer. That's a good answer. I haven't hit a note yet that anybody's been worth seeing, but I did do a backflip. I swear, I did a backflip.
Give credit.
Absolutely. So that leaves one remaining category, and that's New Year, New You, which we're still in January at the time of recording. So
Yep. See
that's
how this
always
ages.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, so here we go. Um, do you find yourself re-energized for resolutions during other new beginning seasons like springtime or around your birthday? So a lot of people say, January, I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to go to the gym every day. And they say by the 21st, most people are
Yeah.
those resolutions are out the window. Me personally, I try to set up resolutions for every quarter of the year. So
Oh, that's smart.
the spring I want to do this. The winter I want to be here. I want summer. I want to have this goal. Do you find yourself re-energized for, others, birthday? By my birthday, I want to do this. Or are you strictly like New Year, I'm going to do this?
Summertime, definitely, because I feel like when everything really like comes together, a lot of great albums drop during the summer. A lot of very memorable albums, and especially in terms of making music, for me, I really feel like it's a window of feeling like this certain energy, that you really don't feel in any other time of the year. But really, a close second for me would be winter, because winter you just get like those cold, dark vibes and like for me, naturally, it just comes out really easily. I listen to a lot of Weekend. The Weekend he has a lot of like dark melodies. Drake has a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
dark melodies. You know, um, Trilogy was one of my favorite albums to play during the winter, and really, I feel like dark energy emanating. I'm able to say something real over like some low fire, like some lower, lower energy records.
absolutely. Now we dropped our top 10 albums of 2022, and Don
Yeah.
FM was our number one album of the year on the Den, and that came out in
Oh
January of
wow. Yeah.
2022.
I
Uh,
feel like After Hours is very underrated in his discography.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's dropped nothing but bangers, and I call The Weeknd the king of the concept album because when
Yep.
he goes into a concept, he goes hard from the makeup to you
The
know,
red suit.
the red suit to being
Yep.
beat up and the old him and
Yep.
I love that. I love the full art instead of just a beat and a verse and a beat and a verse, just giving you this immersive experience.
Exactly.
So that's super dope. All right, man. Those are dope ass answers, and with those dope ass answers, you get a dope ass prize. You get the official Denmate stamp in your passport. I used to say gang gang, but Rico's after everybody, so I'm gonna say team moving forward. So
Come say
welcome to the team. You're a den mate. With that, we're gonna get that merch out to you, red in your favorite
appreciate it.
color. So that's gonna be coming out to you soon. We're also gonna add your music to DITD Radio, guys. If you're checking it
Sorry.
out, check it out on DITD Radio on YouTube. We have some of the dopest music from underground artists, pop artists. I like all types of music, so it's some dope. We've also added you to the Marz Spotify playlist that is available on Spotify. We've already put Hip Hop Volume 1, and we've got my man Rich featured up there, so we're going to
Sorry.
get that exposure out there. And as I mentioned, in the team in the Den, we're also going to put you in the group chat with got about 40 or 50 incredible
Yeah.
artists that's in the community, so we can get
Need that. Need
networking, every genre you can imagine. There's some talented people. And of course, your family, man. So anytime you want to come on the show, anytime you have something to promote, you got the number. You just let me know. We'll
appreciate that.
we'll carve a spot out because that's what it's all about. Giving back to the community and making sure that these creatives get exactly what they deserve. Um, guys, I thank you so much for checking out this fantastic episode. Rich, you are cool as a fan. I appreciate you coming out here and
No
taking the
problem for
time
sure.
out. Underdog is streaming right now on your favorite platform. So, Denmates,
All
I don't
platforms.
I don't ask for much, but what I want you to do is check this album out. You know I'm batting 1,000. I don't give anything that's stamped that I don't truly believe in. So, and from the feedback I've gotten, I'm batting 1,000. So please check it out. Underdog streaming on your Spotify, your Apple, your Tidal. I'm sure there's more platforms, but I can't
All
think of them
cloud.
right now.
YouTube.
YouTube, there you go.
Tidal. Amazon. Everything. On everything.
Everything, everything. Get it, put it on, let it run while you're asleep. Let it just sink into your psyche because it's a dope, dope album. You will not regret it. Every single track is a banger, and it's not too many albums that every single track is a banger. He's just getting started. This is what he's getting started at. He sounds like he's on his fourth album right here. So I I don't know what's to come, but I know sky's the limit.
Word
Rich,
to Biggie.
absolutely. Hey, word to Biggie. I didn't even mean to do that one, but absolutely. Absolutely. Rich, please tell the people where they can find you on social media. Any shout outs you want to give, anything you want to let the people know to look out for, any appearances. The floor is yours. You earned it. It's on you.
Rich the Mac. All Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. everywhere else basically. RICHTHEMACK. And I would love to give a special shout out to everyone that worked on the project, producers included. Shout out to Flavor Boy, shout out to Q Sheet, shout out to Sadie's Classy, shout out to Skyez, I'm pretty sure I'm saying the name right. Grace, Teddy, Marcus, Sam, Doozy, basically anyone that really helped put this together. Shout out to Eric, Stevie, James, Oval. Shout out Delasi, shout out Xavier, shout out Juan, shout out Asael, shout out Abraham, the entire Mora family, the entire Hill family, shout out Martin Hill, shout out everyone really that kind of put this whole vision together and helped me, make it really what it is.
Absolutely. And is there any more merch available? Is there a place where they can get this merch, or are you sold out? You're probably sold out, but I want to make sure they get the full kit and caboodle of the experience.
Merch can be found on my Instagram bio. It will be in that little link. It's a Shopify link, but it'll have, when you click on the link, it'll be the first one that shows up. We have it in unisex sizes. It goes all the way up to 2XL or 3XL, I believe, and we have 4 different designs.
Perfect. So, guys, support the merch, support the movement, support the team, support the. Keep wanting to say gang. I'm not saying gang, just in case the FBI is listening. Support the crew immediately. It is fire. Rich, thank you, brother. I appreciate you coming out and taking your time playing the game with us. Then mates for life, as we do. So anytime you want to come in here and promote something, just say the word. We got you. Guys, thank you so much. Please check my man out, Rich. Follow him on Instagram right now and check out the music. It's fire. Check out that deluxe when that comes out as well. I know it's going to have some more heat for you guys. And as we end every episode the same damn way, it's all about peace, love, unity, and respect. Deuces. So like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now.